On the innovation initiatives, yeah, I really think that what CMS will do will be responsive to the Supreme Court ruling. And although they're trying to churn out rules and regulations as we speak, once the ruling occurs, then the lay of the land will be determined. And I think that healthcare will be a huge topic as we move into the fall. But they've got to be responsive to whatever the court says. Now again, that's what.
Okay. I guess this meeting is not exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know, I thought it was more of a public forum, and obviously it's not. It seems to me the majority of people in this audience are involved in the healthcare industry. Am I correct? How many of you, raise your hands, represent the healthcare?
This was intended to be a discussion about long-term healthcare and the situation that we have in Washington as it relates to long-term healthcare.
You did bring up the issue of Obamacare. You know, I didn't institute that. I don't think she did. Okay.
I never used that language, but you're right.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Definitely.
Yes, you did.
No, I talk about the president's healthcare law.
Okay, I don't want to argue about that. I just think that the people that are representing the industry, and I understand that's your job, that's where you're making your money to feed your family, get insurance for your family. But do you understand what's happening to people who don't have the luxuries that you have?
And your question is?
My question is, everybody seems to be so down on what the government, or let's say the Democrats, are trying to offer citizens in this country. I retired from a job, had health care coverage. We own the business ourselves. I have a heart condition. When we sold the business, nobody would touch me. They called our house constantly. Obviously, the industry knew that we were changing
and your
our
question?
plans. Yeah, it's a question. That we were changing our plan, and they were all at our phone trying to get us to go with them. They talked to my husband. Soon as all I had to do was say I have a heart condition, and all I heard was, "I'm sorry, I can't help you."
And your question?
My question, I guess it's not a question. Well, it is a question. What's going to happen to people like me who had a pre-existing condition and could not get insurance?
This is a great question.
Okay.
Because the insurance industry has put in full force their cherry picking or opportunity to be able to deny insurance coverage for some individuals with pre-existing illnesses and injuries.
For some individuals.
And it's
what does that mean?
Primarily in the individual and small group market. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Now, there are two ways that you can address the pre-existing challenge to get folks covered that have pre-existing illnesses and injuries. One is that we can say to insurance companies, you must cover these folks. And that's one way to do it. What that results in is, however, increasing the costs for every single other individual, and it means that you've got to define what is a pre-existing illness and injury, which may or may not be what you think as an individual is a pre-existing illness or injury. Or you can imagine a system where individuals like you or anybody else can pool together with millions of other Americans so that you get the purchasing power of millions, you get insurance to work as it should, which is to spread the risk so that anybody's health status, regardless of its severity, does not significantly increase the cost of the premium for anybody else. The reason that that's an important way, you change the law. The reason that's important...
See, I'm really simplistic. I need to see how...
HR 3000. HR 3000 is the bill. The reason that's important is because it allows individuals, it allows patients to determine what kind of coverage that they get, not the government picking it for them. But it's a very important question. Yes, sir?
I think one of the issues is how do we have care for the majority of individuals, if not everyone, and everyone participating in paying for it. And you kind of alluded a little bit with what you just shared here, is this assistance.
Because again, what is health care for you or health coverage for you may not be what Washington decides it is. That's why you have to keep your focus on the patient. The patient is the one that has to be able to make that decision. I believe that would bring about essentially coverage for all, which is obviously the goal. You got to get everybody covered in this system. Yes, sir.
I'm a state representative here in Indiana, District 21, represent part of Napanee. But I'm just hearing what you're just describing about the federal bill that I'm assuming the House Republicans are putting together to address that. How are ways that the state can begin to take more of that responsibility? In other words, should that be legislation that's addressed at the federal level? Or can the state be addressing some of those concerns or issues in a better way, perhaps?
Yeah, what can be done at the state level? And actually there's a lot of innovation that can occur at the state level. The coverage kinds of things are difficult because when you do deductions and credits and advanceable credits and the like at the state level, the amount that you're able to provide as a credit oftentimes isn't enough to be able to provide that incentive. That's why I believe there is a role for Washington to make certain that individuals have the opportunity to gain coverage. But there are the portability issues that you could put in place, which our solution would, so that you don't lose your coverage when you change your job, providing a safe harbor for physicians who practice specialist society guidelines so that if they do the right thing, they're unable to be sued. Those are the kinds of things that save huge amounts of money. So there are great opportunities at the state level. One of the things that we've tried to do in Georgia, and we haven't been successful as of yet, is to make it so that individual physician licensure isn't tied to participation in any particular plan. So that you've got a pressure valve outlet. You've got to make it so a lot of the physicians my age, the guys and the gals my age, are saying, I've had it. I'm up to here with all of the nonsense. I'm moving on. And so I think there need to be pressure valve outlets, and one of the pressure valve outlets is to make it so that physicians are able to contract individually, voluntarily with patients, should they so desire. The concierge medicine practice is kind of an outgrowth of that sort of thing. But you got to make it so that people can act outside of the system so that there are pressure valve releases within the system itself.